Hey, what's up? Welcome back to my channel. I'm Jair, and it's been a long time since I publish or create new content to this channel. Most of the time I've been just streaming, so if you want to be in the stream or you want to be aware of them, be sure to subscribe and, I don't know, activate or hit the bell, whatever that means. I mean, anyway, so reference, I want to talk about reference and how I use them and what I used to think or what I think people tend to think. So before I start actually talking about that, I want to explain you what are you watching, and this was something that I draw last week, I guess, and I did it in a few streams, so it was a lot of fun because I started to make streams speaking in English, and it's quite a challenge. This is still a challenge to speak to me. This is still a challenge to speak in English, so doing a stream and drawing at the same time, it could be really a mess, but it was cool. So this was made, I would say, I took like 5 to 6 hours, and to be honest, most of the time when I'm drawing just to make experiments or for fun, in this case it was just for fun, when I reach the 5 hour I start to feel like I don't want to work more in this, so I pretty much just wrapped all the drawing in the last hour and I leave it as it was because I was tired. And actually one of the reasons that I stopped creating artwork for YouTube, I mean like presenting artwork here in this platform, was because most of the time I'm just doing experiments, studies, or maybe just having fun painting. And I would say I don't make too much finished artwork if it's not for a client or something like that. So what happens is that when I used to make these videos, people always tell, like, even when I actually aware them or warn them that this video was a process or maybe just a study or just experiment, people always tend to comment things like, I don't know, my teacher can do that better or whatever, or you missed to do this, or the elbow is wrong, or anyway. I know most of the things that they are telling me, and it could be really annoying. It's not like I feel bad for those comments. It's more like, I don't know, it's just annoying, yeah. So I prefer just to, and I think actually is the correct way, to practice by my own and maybe just show my progress a couple of months after I practice a lot or make a lot of mistakes. It relieves the pressure of being constantly uploading things, because I don't see the point to upload everything that you made when you know that almost 80% of what you made is not garbage, but not exactly, you know, like something to present to everyone. So yeah, whatever. I just wanted to say that, and as I said, this is one of those experiments. I was actually just having fun with the people in the stream, and at the end I just had all the recording, so I put it together and create this video. So yeah, now reference. Nowadays I pretty much use reference always when I'm creating an illustration, or at least when I know that I'm going to try to push the illustration a little bit, or when it's a final product for a client. And maybe 2 years ago I was always saying that, yeah, it's cool and great to use reference, but deep inside my mind I feel like, and I think a lot of people feel the same, and it's like unconsciously you think that it's cheating or something related to cheating because you're not using your own skills, and it's weird, I know, but it's not actually like that. What I think right now is that it is almost impossible to make art without reference to a certain degree, and there are some types of reference, I will say, in my case, and all what I'm saying is just for myself. I know that everyone can think different, but for myself there are 2 types of reference, and the first one is that kind of reference that you use to improve your design skills and your mental library. So for example, I have some friends that actually draw, and I always tell them that, for example, they present me an illustration and they say, what do you think? So I say, well, this is kind of cool, but I will improve the sword, because the sword is kind of like meh. So what I say is just look some sorts of, I don't know, medieval swords or fantasy swords or whatever. Just make your research and try to study those references, and then get back to your own painting, and you're gonna see that you are going to improve your design. And even when they all listen the advice and they say, yeah, cool, I'm going to do that, later when I see the final illustration, I see that it's the same design as before. They don't change anything. So I feel a little bit frustrated because I know that deep inside their minds it's not something that they do consciously, and I felt that way before. Even when you know what you have to do, you still prefer your own skills. Skills is not the word, but that's my problem. That most of the people say the same thing. You know, use reference, but no one uses it in the proper way. When I advise to someone that he has to use reference, I mean it. Like, take your time. You know. Study the topic 1 or 2 hours just at least, and then come back to your drawing or illustration, whatever, especially when it's something that you are not comfortable drawing. Like, for example, if you have never drawn mechs, then maybe you should take your time and study not only mechs, maybe engines or hydraulics or engineering things. I don't know. Well, that's the point. And the second type of reference that came to my mind is the one that actually helps you to be more accurate with some stuff in your illustration. And this probably applies to not to everyone, and I'm aiming to a more realistic, I wouldn't say realistic, but less stylized illustration. And for that kind of illustration, I always tend to take some reference photos. Like, I took photos of myself in different lighting environments. Nowadays I use a lot Portrait Studio, because you can pretty much set your scene in Portrait Studio with no problem. You can set your lights, your bouncing lights, your pose, the face, and that could be enough to manage to create a decent illustration. For some people, this type of reference is actually more of a cheating than the other one, and I just understand them, but I have come to believe that it is a way to get better actually drawing, because the more I use those types of reference, the less I need them. I think it's because your mental library starts to grow. Pretty much every artist that I know use this type of reference. For example, for hands, not always, but I don't know, I just think, okay, it doesn't take me too much time to take a couple of photos of my hands and just put them in the canvas in Photoshop and use them as reference. It's just fast and accurate, as I said, and that actually improved a lot of my paintings. I'm not always actually shooting myself or using Portrait Studio. I just use them in certain types of jobs, because when I'm having fun, I don't think that is necessary. I just rely on my memories. In here, I use them because I was actually streaming, and I thought for a minute in the idea of maybe pushing this illustration to the 20 plus hours, 30, I don't know. But as I was reaching the 5 hour, I just got tired. I didn't want to create or spend more time on it. I think a great example is a video that has Cynthia Sheppard, and I'm going to leave it in the description so you can watch it, and you're going to see how she actually shoot a lot of reference for one illustration, how she actually used them. After watching that video, I realized that, because I still had in my mind to that time that feeling of, oh man, I'm doing something wrong, what I'm doing, what am I doing? I wish I could say more things, but I'm struggling just speaking. So hopefully I made my point clear. And nowadays I always use reference in some degree. Lastly, I would say not everyone needs to rely that heavily on reference. It actually depends a lot on the style. The more realistic, I would say you will need more reference. But in terms of creating new things and improving design, I would say it's a must. So yeah. If you have any other opinion or you want to share your opinion, leave it on the description. I would like to read your comments. Of course, this is just my point of view and everyone can have their own. Yeah, let's discuss this stuff. So, I'll see you in the next video.
Bye.